I want to tell you my story. I have struggled with weight my whole life, and I want to take you on my weight loss journey. My triumphs and my failures, the extreme measures I took. I have lost and gained major weight over 5 times till date. I've done everything and anything to lose weight. Now I want to tell you what I did and how I did it. Let's go! My relationship with food, it's one of my most complicated relationships. You know, as early as I can remember having food independence. So what is food independence? When you could choose what you wanted to eat. I got food independence as early as 5 years old. You know, and that's crazy to me because when I think about my kids, I have a 6-year-old, I have a 5-year-old, and I'm about to have a 2-year-old. And I am in complete control over their menu. I control, you know, when they have their snacks and all that. And at 5 years old, I actually had food independence because I had to go to a boarding school. And even though my siblings were there, they were in different parts of the boarding school. I was in primary, they were in secondary. So, I mean, it was kind of one of those things that I was able to pick what I wanted. A lot of times, in the boarding house, they had very plain and bland food. I remember one of my favorite foods being rice mixed with butter with a bit of salt and pepper, and then sometimes you would put ketchup in it. And, you know, because the teachers, I mean, it's not that they didn't care, but, I mean, they had like 15, 20 other children to worry about, you know, at any given time. They probably didn't have time to worry about the nutritional health of each child. So I think that's where my bad habits started. I went to a finishing school called the Royal School in Bath, and it was an HRH school, which means a Her Royal Highness school, bougie basically, but it was a finishing school, and that is where I got introduced to what we like to call tuck. So what is tuck? Tuck is known as snacks, I think, snacks or candy. And honestly, I can tell you that is where my addiction to sugar and my relationship with sweets and snacks truly bonded. And the relationship is something that I'm still battling with till today.
Taste of home. And this is what I mean about balance. You just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
So this is cabbage and it has noodles. Today's cheat day.
I didn't notice that I was, you know, forming a food addiction because I was extremely active. I was captain of almost every team. I was doing rounders in the summer and tennis, and then there was netball, and then there was cross-country running, hockey, swimming. You know, there was always something on the weekends. We were climbing some rock somewhere. It was just a very English bumpkin, you know, country girl life. And, you know, we were always, you know, sometimes I was horse riding. And, you know, when you're horse riding, you have to take care of your horse. You have to take care of the stable. And all these things are exercise. So I didn't know that I was unhealthy because I was slim. I was still thin. You know, it was when I left that school and I went to another school in the UK in Watford, Stanborough Secondary School. That was when the weight started to set in because I went to a more academic-based school. They weren't so involved in sports per se. We didn't play against other schools like I did. You know, we were in every league in the other school. But, you know, in this school, we had sports as a lesson, but it wasn't really a part of my everyday life. And so basically my activity level went down and then my pocket money went up and, you know, I had more access because in this school, you know, I was in high school now. I could go into town. So I was eating McDonald's 3-4 times a week, you know, if I could afford it. Tuck. You know, now they had a tuck shop, but you could also go to Asda by yourself. And, you know, that's where I really formed my love for sweets. You know, apple laces, Astro belts, Coke bottles, fried eggs. It was after my first term, I was about 13 years old, and I came to Nigeria, and that was when I realized that I was fat. You know, nobody had told me in school that I had gained weight or that, you know, it wasn't doing well for me or whatever. But I remember that summer, it was Christmas actually, I had gone through hell
My cousins were calling me fat. My dad was calling me fat. Anyone that I met was calling me fat. And I feel like that is when my self-image issues really started. And I started to look down on myself. And that was actually the beginning of my life of always being on a diet. So after, that summer, that Christmas, I can't remember which vacation it was. I just remember having such low self-esteem. I remember that I had stopped eating around people. I just basically started eating by myself or eating in secret because I was afraid of people talking about me. So when I got to uni, it was also a little bit different now. I had a dorm, but I didn't have a car. And so I was doing a lot of walking from my dormitory to the lecture hall, back to my dorm, to the lunchroom. So that active lifestyle was quite helpful as far as keeping me into shape. By the time I got to my third year of university, the weight had creeped back up so much. I said, enough is enough. I'm gonna get a personal trainer, a gym membership, and I was gonna work out with my best friend, Eno. And basically, Eno and I would meet every morning at 5:30, and we would go spinning at the YMCA, and then we would run on the treadmill for an hour, and then later on in the afternoon, we would meet with our trainer. And, that was the first time, I can say maybe I exercised a little bit too much, but that was the first time that I was actually encouraged to eat on my diets. I ate 3 square meals, and I was doing well. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I now was seeing my results, and I was enjoying the exercise, and I was getting fitter, but I became impatient, and I started to complain about little things, and before I knew it, I just gave up. I had gotten to my senior year, that was my final year of university, and I had so many exams, so many term papers, because I had taken a heavy load of classes. So most of the times I wasn't even going to the cafeteria. I was ordering food to come to my room. I was snacking a lot. And I realized that, I had probably gained so much weight in just a short period of time just because of lack of movement and just focusing on work. I remember the dress I had even picked out for graduation. I ended up having to wear something else because it was too tight for me. And so, then started the yo-yoing of my weight after graduation. So I graduated from uni in 2006, and a lot of people didn't know this, but I actually moved back to Nigeria in 2006, and I lived in Nigeria for 1 year. And in that 1 year, I had decided to come to Nigeria, and I was working at GT Bank as an intern in their corporate affairs department. So one of the great things about bankers that I've found, at least the ones I've met, is that they know where all the local joints were. So if it was amala, or if it was local rice, or if it was anything that I really wanted to try, they would take me to the joints. And so I really learned about Nigerian local food, and I fell in love. The problem is I kind of have an addictive personality, and I would just eat it all the time, every day. Before I knew it, my face broke out because it was just excessive amounts of oil. I was snacking a lot. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even say in that period that I was actually fat per se, but I definitely wasn't in the best shape that I could have been. Now, what offset it? Being a banker and being an intern and a banker is like you're a house girl, basically. So I was always up and down. I was running up and down stairs, delivering reports, jumping on okadas to go and pick up this and pick up that. So it was very, very a high-paced lifestyle. One thing about me is when I'm stressed, I actually eat. I never associated myself as a stress eater, but I've started to study patterns, and I realized that I've actually stress ate most of my life. So now I'm graduated. I now need to wait to get a job, and then the credit crunch happens in the UK. I had been waiting for my worker's visa. I'd been waiting for, a job opportunity, and I had been home after my master's. So then there was an additional 6 months of just eating whatever you wanted. I was just chilling in London at my dad's house. And, before I knew it, I'd even gained more weight. So once finding a job and all that, especially after the economic downturn in the UK, was really difficult because priority was going to EU passport holders, and being an American citizen, I wasn't getting the jobs that I needed. I eventually moved back to Nigeria in 2008, I believe, and I had now decided that I was going to start my weight loss journey again. So I decided to sign up at one of the local gyms near me, and it was cool, but I just found that I was doing a lot of cardio. I found that, if I did the cardio, as long as I kept up with it, I was in shape. But let's say I took a week off or I had a cheat day or something, I would gain weight so much easier. So I was like, I think I need to get back in with a trainer that really knows what they're doing. Weight training is the way forward, and that was when I really got into weight training. But I think I got a little bit extreme when it came to like cardio. I was running like 5 to 10K every day, and I was really eating just limited food. I had really gotten myself on a very strict diet. The problem was it was not sustainable. As my life evolved and as I started businesses and as I stopped, because when I started this, I was just working at my dad's office. My stress level was pretty low. I didn't have much going on. My social life was basic. So, it was just kind of like I didn't have much to stress out about. And so it was easy to keep up with these, 3 or 4 hour gym sessions. Whereas now, I don't work out for more than 40 minutes, except because of my marathon training. But if I wasn't training for a marathon, I wouldn't run more than 10 kilometers because there's no need for me to. I would just work on getting that time better and recovering better as well. So I got really extreme. I was working out all the time. I was working out 6 days a week, and eventually I burnt out. And that's what happens when you don't set realistic goals, and not even just goals for the goal you want to meet, but realistic training goals for yourself. And so before I knew it, I fell off. I had traveled to the UK. I was feeling so cute. I was getting in all these small clothes. And once again, I forgot, Sharon, this is not how your body is naturally. Your genetics are on the heavier side. If you do not maintain your body with regular workouts and regular eating, you're going to gain weight. That was something I learned the hard way. And before I knew it, once again, I was getting all these compliments. I went back to my regular lifestyle, and the weight started creeping back up. That was about a 2-year period. And in that 2-year period, between 2010 and 2012, so 13, should I say, or 3-year period, I had probably experimented with like so many diets. And what I mean by that is I had done, what's that shake one? It's not Slim Fast. You could basically 3 or 4 different type of shake replacements, soup replacements. I had done the Atkins diet. I had done the pepper cayenne, the lemonade diet. I had done the eat only raw vegetables diet. I had done eat only chicken, eat only fish. You name it, I had done every type of diet, that there was. So when it was time for me to get married, I didn't even realize, but I was operating at full exercise bulimia. I had full-on exercise bulimia, but that's not what I would have called it. And so let me explain what exercise bulimia is. Exercise bulimia is when you're extreme about calculating the calories that you consume, and then you're extreme about making sure you burn off that amount or more to make sure that your body is not basically holding any fat. So basically, I could eat anything I wanted. So let me use an example. There was a day I ate normally, I had worked out, and it had balanced out. Later in the evening, I now had a pack of Oreos, which the total calories came up to about maybe 300 and something calories. I had already moved the treadmill to my bedroom. Do you know I got up that night and walked on the treadmill and ran on the treadmill until I had burnt that amount of calories, and then I was comfortable going to sleep. Those were the unhealthy habits that I had formed. I literally was in the best shape of my life. I literally looked so good. And that lasted until the day after the wedding, basically the day after, literally.
Here's what you're gonna look forward to in next episode.
The weight gain actually really started once we found out I was pregnant with Sawyer. So one of my bad habits, I will say, I don't want to call it a bad habit, but one of my things is that I just don't work out when I'm pregnant. And that's one thing I do enjoy during pregnancy. But since I'm having twins, yep, that's right, I'm having 2 more kids, Christian and Shiloh. Don't ask me about it, talk to the Lord. He's the one that told me about it. Don't talk about it. And when I got to Dubai, you know, that's when I told my husband that I think I should get surgery, like plastic surgery.
Watch this space. Bedroom. I'm not perfect. I don't want to package myself as perfect. So I want to use words like that that's bleeped out.
I said what I said. Megan wanted me to edit that out. Not happening.
To let me know, because guess what's gonna happen? In 10 years, I won't say those things because the Holy Spirit would have already convicted me not to. But in the meantime, he wasn't good.
Big up the bros.